Alright, everybody, we are back here for round 2. With the list that you see on screen here, we are playing some Simian Spirit guides, and that is all she wrote. We do have some little bit of sideboard tech going on, but if you're interested in this particular deck list and how we arrived at this deck list, then go ahead and check out match 1, because I will not be covering that here. Instead, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the match. Alright, it looks like we have our match. Our opponent with their Teferi profile picture over here. That's pretty cool. Revealing a Luris. That can't be right. Our opponent is a fan of blue, right? They can't be playing Luris. Maybe that means it's Mill. Is that reading way too much into it? Probably. But we get a turn 2 Dryad and a turn 3 Titan, probably. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this for sure. Alright, opponent, play your Dark Slick Shores and whatever you're going to play on turn 1. Let's see the Mill cards. Woodland Foothills. Not Woodland. What am I saying? Wooded Foothills. Apologies. Our opponent has a Thoughtseize. That's not great. Okay, well, at least we have a backup Grazer here as a way to block our opponent's creatures and still get a little bit of ramp going. Won't be quite a turn 2 Dryad unless we top deck a Forest, but that's alright. I mean, I assume they have to take the Amulet here, right? Oh, they take the package. So they're going on the hope that I don't top deck a Titan strategy. Well, we'll see who wins that battle. I'll tell you, I plan to win that battle, but of course things don't always go to plan, so. Bomat Courier, you got it. This little guy is going to accrue some card advantage. And there's the Forest that we were thinking about before. Alright, let's get our Dryad into play. Again, holding on to this Gruul Turf because we do have Amulet, so we don't want to expend our bounce land here. So we'll play, like, Garenbrig into Arboreal Grazer and put out another land this way. Now we have a blocker. We got some stuff going on. We do just need to top deck that Primeval Titan, and if we do, then we'll be good. That's a pretty good turn, too. Alright, we just need a Titan off the top. We have everything else that we could have wanted. We just need a Titan off the top. They bolted themselves. Definitely playing Death Shadow on our opponent's side of the table. There it is. That is to be expected. That guy is at least a 6/6 since they can fetch Shock here, so. Alright, Titan off the top. Probably just ends the game on the spot. We might have to consider playing around Dismember on our Dryad, unless our opponent is just going to throw the Dismember immediately. With one card left, I don't know if I would play around Dismember. We'll find out. I don't know why I haven't yielded through this turn already. That's okay. They're attacking with the Bomat. I am going to force them to have the Bolt. Take care of the Dryad if you must. Sacrifice the Courier to discard the Scourge of the Skyclaves and draw 2 cards. I think that's probably great for us. But we have not yet managed to top deck a Primeval Titan, so. Looks like so far our opponent's Gambit, taking the Summoner's Pact here instead of anything else, is paying off. We do get an extra turn of chump blocking from our Grazer here, thankfully. We might even have lethal if we top deck a Valakut, since we can activate Ghost Quarter at instant speed. So, like, we could respond to the Gruul Turf bounce ability by Ghost Quartering ourselves, and maybe that works. Can we afford to take the damage this turn? They can fetch Shock and make the Shadow a 9/9, and then a Temur Battle Rage would be 18, which is actually still not enough to kill us. They could fetch Shock and ping, and that would be 20 damage. It's probably worth blocking, I think. I mean, we're still not dead if they have Battle Rage, but I'm just going to try to save off the life points here in case we don't top deck a Titan this exact upcoming turn. This means we're likely not dead to Battle Rage this upcoming turn either, so. Alright, Primeval Titan. Come to the top of the library. We are summoning you. We probably don't even have to attack with Titan for the lethal damage here, as our opponent puts themselves to double Valakut trigger lethal. So we definitely have lethal if we top deck a Valakut as well. Drawing with Peatland, that's probably good for us. Alright, Titan off the top. Titan off the top. Titan. War Summoners Pact. We'll take either. Telarios might even work. Whoa, 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 whoa. They conceded? Why did they concede? Okay, well, they obviously knew that we had the Titan coming, so no big deal. No big deal. Alright, we probably want Dismembers. We probably most certainly want Engineered Explosives. Wilt could be good if our opponent has Blood Moon, but I'm not really putting them on that. Not really a fan of Beast Within, just giving them a additional threat, so... Let's see. Explorers are good against the discard, and Grazers are good for blocking. Summoner's Pact could be potentially bad, although having maximum Titan top deck seems good, so... Spirit Guide actually seems pretty loose here, as it is expending a card for additional mana, but it doesn't actually let us block, like Grazer does, so I'm okay trimming Spirit Guides here. And a Cavern Souls. Seems like a good trim. Is there anything else that we want to bring in? Probably not Relic. We don't care about Luris that much, believe it or not. Yeah, I don't think I want to play around Blood Moon or Ashiok at this point. Maybe it's good to bring in Beast Within to deal with Ashiok, but I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it for this second game here. I think it's better to be on plan. Also, apologize if you can hear a little bit of background noise. Of course, as per the usual, there's going to be some amount of barking from the dog that I cannot edit out, and I apologize for that. Here we definitely keep, as we have a turn 2 Azusa, we have a double bounce on any land will give us Titan mana, we have a blocker with our Boreal Grazer, and we have 2 Titans, so we are protected a little bit against discard spells. Let's see what our opponent has for us to start it off. Thoughtseize. Alright, I assume they take Azusa here. Could be wrong, but... I mean, I guess they could take Grazer too. I don't think it would be right to take a Titan, but... I'll just let my opponent figure out these questions. I just want to untap and play turn 1 Grazer, opponent. Can't you let me do that? They take a Titan. Okay. And we do have Titan mana now that we've drawn this additional forest here, which is fantastic. Our opponent let us play our turn 1 Grazer. It's possible that Grazer should have been the take there, in all honesty, because then we wouldn't have been doing anything until turn 3 at the earliest. Goyf. Sure. Goyfo does not bother me. How about Azusa? Growth Chamber. Pick up Forest, play Forest. And now we have Titan this upcoming turn. Things are fantastic. Not attacking with Grazer. Not at all. Probably not blocking this Tarmogoyf either, in all honesty. Our opponent needs Ashiok right now. That would be kind of problematic, in all honesty. I guess they could also have a discard spell for our Titan. It would have to be exactly Thoughtseize as well, so... I think we might even have Titan if our opponent has a Cleansing Wildfire here, because we'd have 4 mana, play Forest is 5, and then we'd be able to float 1, play Rot Farm, pick up the Forest, and play Forest as our 3rd land drop. Well, Azus is dead now, so that doesn't matter, but... Alright, we're definitely blocking the Bowmat here. And we still have Titan this turn, despite the fact that our opponent has killed our Azusa, so... Yeah. Yeah. Surgical Titan... Excuse me? Okay. Well, there's not much we can do about that. Did not expect our opponent to have Surgical Extraction as their last card as well. Okay. Interesting. Well, that's kind of disappointing. Usually Surgical Extraction is not even very good against Amulet anyways, because in order to surgical a Primeval Titan, one has to already have hit the graveyard, which is pretty unlikely unless our opponent has obviously thought he's a Titan, because otherwise it means the Titan has already resolved and died, in which case you're probably so far behind that you can't come back even with a surgical extraction to get rid of the rest of the Titans. So surgical, not usually the best card against us, but I mean, I can't complain about that, right? And now the question is, what are we doing with Dismember? And I think the answer is nothing. We probably need this Dismember to kill Luris, so as much as I hate to say it. This Bomat Courier is kind of annoying, too. So I guess we just have to win with Valakut and Dryad now. They have Luris in their hand. Alright, let's play out one of these forests. Pass it back. After our opponent plays their Luris, we're definitely going to dismember it, so obviously there's no point in dismembering the Goyf or the Courier because they'll just put it back into play with the Luris, so man, this Bomat Courier is just going to take over the game, though. I anticipate that they're going to draw several cards from it. Yeah, this is probably a lost game, too. Sad to say. Scourge of the Skyclaves. Ugh. Alright, well, yeah, I think we're dead. I guess Engineered Explosives could do it? Explosives? No, we're dead. Alright, so our opponent had the Thoughtseize into Surgical plan, and it lined up. That's alright. Let's see if we want to change anything. Relic of Progenitus nukes our opponent's Tarmogoyfs, stops their Luris, and plays around Surgical. So now that I've seen Goyf, I think we do want Relic. Beast Within still not looking like it's necessary, although I would really hate to lose a game 3 just because our opponent happened to have, one of the 2 or 3 Ashioks that they play in their sideboard if they play Ashiok at all. So, I don't know, we'll see about that. We can trim maybe a Grazer. I don't know, Grazer's pretty good. It's not very good against the Tarmogoyf half of their deck, though, so I'm actually going to cut one. And I'm not super sold that Dismember is particularly good against them. In all honesty, I think we'd rather just have a card that furthers our game plan. We kind of just died there with a Dismember in hand as sort of proof that Dismember is not really going the distance. Maybe we just have Grazers and the cards that we just brought in, the Relics, over Dismembers. I can see that. Yeah, I think it's fine this way. As long as we can avoid getting Surgical Extraction, we should be able to beat our opponent's Lurises and whatnot. Alright, so we have a Grazer, we have a couple Explorers, we have a way to stop our opponent from getting their Scourge of the Skyclaves onto the battlefield, potentially. So we'll keep this one. Definitely leading on turn 1 Grazer here, I believe. So we can block a Bomat or something and stop ourselves from taking damage as early as turn 1. That'll help us play around Scourge just a little bit. In all honesty, though, it might be better to just take a couple damage and then play Radiant Fountain to kill our opponent's Scourge. That's something to think about. If we play turn 1 Grazer, our opponent might play turn 1 Creature, and then the turn after bolt our Grazer and start getting in for damage. Or they might even bolt us, and then untap and play a Scourge on their second turn. It's possible we want to delay this Radiant Fountain, but I don't know. If it means that we don't get to cast our Explorers, not really in love with that. If we draw a bounce land, then we can probably pretty safely delay the Radiant Fountain just enough to potentially kill a Scourge from our opponent. So that's something to be thinking about. Our opponent is deciding whether or not to mulligan their 7. I can't fault them for taking a bit of time on this decision, as they're playing a fast deck, and they can afford to spend, a good couple minutes looking at their opening hand and making sure that it has what they need to win the game here. They'll have plenty of time to get a win later down the road, and they do decide to mulligan here, down to 6. That makes our Grazer even better, by the way, because we're basically matched on cards, and the Grazer will allow us to block a few times, hopefully. All right, we will lead off on this Grazer here. We'll put our Valcut into play as a land that enters the battlefield tapped. And pass it back. If we draw an untapped green source, then we can actually double explore this upcoming turn. Our opponent does have the turn 1 creature to clock us. We have a backup Titan. That's pretty good. Let's lead off on an Explore. Alright, a Ghost Quarter. I guess we are playing out all of our lands here. And I don't think it makes sense to Ghost Quarter ourselves just to explore, so we'll pass it back. We can, this upcoming turn, Ghost Quarter ourselves if we draw a Garenbrig in order to get a Titan into play, so there's that. Let's not yield here, just in case. I guess there's really no reason to cast a Summoner's Pact, but Garenbrig off the top would probably be our best top deck. Alright, let's see the Garenbrig. Off the top. Oh, there we go. So the way that we want to do this is we will Ghost Quarter our own Radiant Fountain after floating the mana. This way we can get our second green to activate Garenbrig, and we'll be able to commit a Titan to the battlefield. Yep. Get the Snow-Covered Forest because they're cool, and also because it allows us to have a diversity of names for field. We'll go ahead and pact for a Titan, and immediately get that guy into play. See, when I ask for a Primeval Titan, we can rarely top deck it. But when what I'm asking for is not a Primeval Titan, then the deck delivers. It just goes to show that Primeval Titan isn't the best card in the deck. That should be obvious by this point, right? Okay, so what do we want to get here? Our opponent's stuck on lands. We already have a backup Titan. Or actually, we could use our backup Titan here as a Dryad and start getting a bunch of Valakut triggers. We could get second Valakut and a bounce land and just pick up the bounce land and go ham. Although we do have to pick up a land and then pay for our Summoner's Pact trigger, so it's not like we'll be able to play our Dryad this upcoming turn, so I still think it's probably fine to go down that route. We'll pick up the Growth Chamber here. And, I suppose we could go with the Vesuva. I don't know if that makes any sense, though. Let's just get the Growth Chamber and a Valakut here. I think that makes no sense. This also gives us a plan if our opponent has Dreadbore plus Surgical Extraction, then we can just pack 4 and play a Dryad and start getting a bunch of Valakut triggers that way, so we're also insulated from some kind of Blood Moon effect. Even though our opponent is stuck on lands, they couldn't possibly cast that, but regardless. One moment. I seem to have developed a runny nose out of nowhere. Alright, sorry, I'm back. We'll pick up the Growth Chamber here and pass it back. Alright, I dare say our opponent has a lot of work to do to catch up. I don't know if our opponent can catch up. They can't even play a Scourge of the Skyclaves considering we are at 22 points of life, so. In all honesty, I wouldn't be terribly surprised to just see a concession here, though it would be kind of sad. Second Bomat Courier, that's fine. You got it. Alright, let's not lose to our own pack trigger. Grazer. That's a pretty decent draw, I would say. We can play our Growth Chamber and then get, pick up one of our Valakuts and get a second bounce land and a Field of the Dead so we can start getting zombies as well. It seems like it's probably a good plan. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to that plan here. Yes, of course. We will get the Field of the Dead and a Gruul Turf here. Definitely stack the Gruul Turf first, since we plan on picking up the Gruul Turf, and also because that is our 7th name for field. We'll pick up the Gruul Turf and continue on our way here. Alright, let's play our Grazer and get this Valakut back into play. and an additional zombie on top of it. Oh, never mind. No zombie for us. It's okay, though. We didn't need it. Now we have a Dryad to kill our opponent this upcoming turn, most likely. Thoughtseize. Well, they're going to take our Summoner's Pact. Yep. Death Shadow. Yep. Okay, so I think we should still be able to win here. We won't be able to transmute Tulare West this turn, which is kind of sad. We probably still want to attack with our Titan anyways. If we attacked with all of our power creatures, i.e. the ones that don't have 0 power, then we still won't be threatening lethal, so it's probably correct not to attack with the zombies. Our opponent can trade their whole board for our Titan if they want to, but... And I think we're just going to get Tulare West and another Growth Chamber, and that will leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 land names, so we'll be getting Field of the Dead triggers anyways. I suppose if we played our Gruul Turf and picked up the Valakut, we could get Vesuva Copying Field and a Tulare West. Actually, I suppose we can still get Vesuva Copying Field and a Tulare West anyways. That'd still be 7 land names, and then we can play Gruul Turf to pick up the Tulare West the turn after this one, so... Yeah, I suppose before we do anything, we should explore here to see if we hit a Dryad. That would make things easier. Our opponent is contemplating this explore. And they're contemplating it some more. I'll let you know when this explore finally resolves. Oh, well, I guess it just finally resolved now. Yeah, I don't think this explosive changes anything. I guess we can explosives on 1 and put our opponent to 1. And then they have absolutely no way to clock us, so maybe it does change something. Alright, let's, and it also forces our opponent to be unable to trade with our Titan, which we probably would like, so... Yeah, this pretty much just seals it. Not as game-ending, it probably is equally as game-ending as a Dryad, but not as, what's the word, definitive? Pop. Alright, and they concede the game. We were able to win that match. Yeah, let me know what you think about the match. I think that it makes sense to side out Simian Spirit Guides in this match as well, but let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my assessment. I would be happy to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I don't have much else to say. It was very unusual that our opponent conceded in that game where they did, where we ended up top decking the Summoner's Pact anyways, but our opponent didn't even know that we had a Titan, and they just scooped it up there, so... Can't really explain what happened there. If you have an idea, and then let me know in the comments. And yeah, I will see you guys for the next match. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.